This talk should be really good. So Aptira has been one of the most active companies down here in Australia, grown out of Australia. So I'm really excited. If everyone could please join me in welcoming Dr. Zhang to talk about StackBuffet. Do you want this or do you want that?
No, I'm good. Thank you everyone for coming to the conference, and I hope you enjoy your time here and learn something new today. So I'm going to talk about StackBuffet and Guts. They're two amazing projects we developed at Aptira. Aptira is the OpenStack service company which help users set up and maintain the OpenStack cloud. Our OpenStack is quite easy to set up and run, but in our experience, we found that there are some functions missing, and these functions are quite useful to the users, especially in a production environment. So that's why we developed these projects and trying to make our users' life much easier. So the first project I'm going to talk about today is StackBuffet. StackBuffet basically is a CI as a service. Why do we need StackBuffet? Firstly, many people, they have local patches. As you know, OpenStack is open source and written in Python. So some people, it's easy for people to change the code. And some people change the code to meet their local special requirements. And because these changes are quite special to their use case, and they will not be uploaded to the upstream. So if they install packages from the upstream, they need to do some patching afterwards, which is a bit ad hoc and error-prone and not very convenient. And secondly, the OpenStack distros have so many. If you go to the OpenStack website, there are probably 20, 30 of them. And they are built by a third-party organization, and you don't have control of them. So if you install a particular version, and that version has some bug, and you want that bug to be fixed as soon as possible, then probably you have to wait for the next available version, and that could be in a few weeks, if not months. So some people, they run their local CI, trying to get away from this situation. There are plenty of documents on the internet that tell you how to install a CI. It's not hard to run, but it takes some resource and time and effort to maintain and look after it. So that's why we decided to do this for users. That's why we develop StackBuffet. What can StackBuffet do for you? StackBuffet can build packages from your source code. You just supply your source code to StackBuffet, and will build packages for you. It supports CentOS and Ubuntu. So just and also you can test your packages. After the package is built, it will be put into a repository. We'll supply this repository to you, so you can use the packages directly from StackBuffet. And StackBuffet has a few profiles according to how you want to put into the package. You can create a virtual environment and install your scripts into the environment and put the whole environment, virtual environment, into the package. The benefit of that is every package will be installed into a separate location. Then so you can install multiple versions on the same host, and that's make it easier for you if you want to switch between the versions. Or you can set up the package to install scripts into the system library path, which is under /user/lib. This is similar to what the upstream package is doing. And in the future, we probably will support Docker images. So you can build Docker image from StackBuffet. This is the workflow of StackBuffet. Firstly, you need to prepare your source code. You can clone a upstream source, a particular version from the upstream, and then apply some local patches or any bug fix into your code base. And then you give this code base to StackBuffet. The StackBuffet dashboard is a web interface with which you interact with StackBuffet most of the time. So you give this code base to StackBuffet dashboard, and StackBuffet dashboard will send the job to a worker node, a backend worker node. So we have a number of backend worker nodes which can scale according to the workload. And the worker node will build a package and send it to the repository server. And then it will update the metadata in the repository server. Then they are ready for use. You can also get StackBuffet to test the packages for you. Again, you just send a request to the dashboard, and the dashboard will pick one of the worker, and the worker will then launch a new VM in our cloud and install OpenStack with the packages with your packages in the repository server, and then run a rally test. After the test is done, you can see the result and some logs from the dashboard. So that's how it works. And the user can use the repository directly. So I just want to give you a bit more details of each of the main functions. So when you build your packages, you just apply your code base, just basically a URL, git URL and git reference, which is a tag name, a branch name, or a commit, even a commit ID. And also you can sign your packages with your GPG key. And also there's a release number in the package metadata, which you can grow it automatically. And then in the dashboard, you can see the build log and history builds. When you test your packages, StackBuffet will launch a VM install OpenStack and run the it's an integration test using Rally, and probably we are looking at unit tests in the future. Then you can see the log in StackBuffet to do some troubleshooting and see the reports, the test reports as well. When you use our package, you have a unique URL you can put into your app or YAM configuration. And also you can delete your packages if you don't need them anymore. And we have some help messages to show you how to configure your this repository in your client. Oops. What's that? And also we support multiple repositories because some people may want to have, for example, a dev repository and a test repository and a production repository. Yeah. And I don't have time to show you to do a live demo, so I just have a few screenshots here. So this is the main view that shows a list of your jobs. You can, it's a bit small, and yeah, if you are interested, you can come to see us in the booth, and probably I can do a private demo for you. So in this view, you can get a list of your jobs. You can see the status and the start time, and some parameters, for example, the URL of your code, and you have a few buttons to retrieve the log and to stop the job, for example. In this version, we support Cinder, Nova, Neutron, Glance, Swift, Horizon, and Keystone, but we are probably will add other OpenStack components in future versions. And this is the files view, which shows you a list of your packages in the repository, and you can delete your packages if you don't need them anymore. And we also have a setting interface for you to put in your git URL and the version, etc. And if you want to, okay, so I just want to say, StackBuffet is a hosted service, and we are now running a beta program. So if you are interested, you can come to see us. Then we can set up something for you to try. And yeah, and also you can go to this URL to send us a message if you want to know more or want to ask a question. So the second thing I'm going to talk about today is Guts. Guts is an OpenStack migration service. this is the definition of guts. It just basically automatically move your workload and virtual machines between two virtualization and cloud platforms. So it could be a traditional virtualization platform such as VMware, Hyper-V, and the cloud platform could be OpenStack. Why the main use case is actually the main driven of this project, because we have set up OpenStack cloud for some users, and also these users they already have existing VMware platform. And then once they have the OpenStack, they want to move everything from VMware to OpenStack. There was no automatic way to do that, so we decided to develop a service, an automatic service to help users to do this. But then we try to make this a bit general, so you can move anything between two different platforms. So some users use that to migrate VMs between two OpenStack clouds. So a user, for example, a user has two data centers. They are in two different cities, so you can so you can't do live migration between them. So you can use guts to do the job. And also, if you have two different OpenStack versions, you can. If you're running them in parallel, you can also use this service to do the migration. Guts has three major services. The first one, API, is the interface that user interact with Guts. And just like other OpenStack projects, it has policy rules so that you can define who can do what. And the scheduler service is the core service that it will look at the request and a number of, because we have another service called migration service. It does the real job, and we can have multiple migration service. And the scheduler will look at each of these migration service to determine the job, which one is suitable to run a particular job. We will select the migration service based on a number of factors. One of them is, for example, the space available on the nodes. And also, we will look at the workload of the migration service. This is the architecture of Guts. Typically, we install the Guts API service and the Guts scheduler, and possibly a migration service in one node. And also, you can install migration service in a source hypervisor or destination hypervisor. If you look at the number one, the first use case, if one of the source or destination hypervisor has a migration service, when you send a request to the API, the scheduler will pick the migration service on the hypervisor to do the job for you. And if both of them, just like use case 2, if both of them have the migration service, they will share the load. And if none of them have the migration service, there's a middle one. The middleman will do the job. So the source image will be sent to this middleman, the intermediate one, and do some conversion there, and then upload to the destination. This will be a little bit slow because it's going through an intermediate node. So here are the main features of Guts. It has a pluggable architecture, so you can write a plugin for a new hypervisor. And it can migrate not only virtual machines, but also it can migrate storage, such as volumes in OpenStack and network. It will convert the disk images according to the destination hypervisor. Also, it will change your image. It will install install cloud-specific tools like VMware tools, if that's required. In the current version, we support VMware and OpenStack as the source, and OpenStack as the destination. We also provide a dashboard plugin, a Horizon plugin, so you can do some point and click to migrate your VMs. At the moment, we are working on the Hyper-V driver, and also the function to migrate your volume and network, and the code is finished, and we are doing some testing, so it will be ready very soon. And in the future, probably we look at other hypervisor types. And Guts is open source, so you can get the documents from these links, and you can download the source code if you are interested to try and install that. We have a screencast you can have a look. Okay, so that's all I have today. If you want to know more, you can talk to us in the booth, or you can talk to any of the team members, or you can go to this link to click sales and general to send us a message.
Excellent. Yep. Round of applause for Dr. Zhang, please.
Thank you.
Excellent. Some questions on those two use cases. We got one here, one over there, coming right at you.
Just a question in regards to Guts.
Yep.
Are you able to migrate, like if you have two OpenStack clouds,
yep.
how do you migrate the networks between the two if you want to keep the same IP, or do they have to be two different IPs and floating IPs and everything moving across?
In the current version, it will be a new IP. Yeah.
Future version is?
Sorry? The future version?
And the future version?
I haven't seen that yet because we got a team working on this. So the plan is to create a new, to replicate the same network structure in the destination.
Question over here, I believe.
You mentioned that customers are using it to migrate from a non-OpenStack environment to an OpenStack environment.
Yep.
Are you able to, or are there any plans to be able to migrate from vanilla KVM onto OpenStack?
Okay, that's a good question. And that's a good use case. I think that's that should be easy to achieve because we can migrate from OpenStack to OpenStack. So the code can largely do most of the job. You just need to change that to accept KVM, vanilla KVM images. Yeah, that should be easy. I will talk to the team. Or you can contribute because it's open source. We welcome. Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, but that's a good use case. I will pass that to the team. Sorry? Sorry? Oh, yeah. You can do that. Yeah.
Aptira is really open to this. Honestly, just go up onto their booth and start talking to the team there. There's several people here who are very, very, very happy. A lot of them are actually core contributors to OpenStack upstream. So, well worth. Any more questions? This side or that side? Going once, going twice. Okay, one more round of applause for Shunde.
Thank you.
Good work.